Hello, all you hardcores out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. I say the things on here that nobody dares say. We're just waiting for Terry to join us. For those of you who are asking, who looks like he's won the 100 quid for the month, I think it's going to be Anthony. Uh, Terry, how are you doing?
Sorry I'm late, mate. I just had to mash down a few chicken wings. I was cramping up, so I just needed some food.
No problem, mate. What do you think to no Oakley's Terry? Don't like a nonce.
Yeah, yeah. Don't walk around any schools today, mate. Whatever you do.
I have just an half a mile kid today swimming. Takes some getting used to because the computer glasses, you know, because computer all the time in day. But if I
Yeah,
walk
not.
back into the kitchen now, I'm walking into the door and that it's just they're only good for like 22 to 24 inch. The thing, look a
Yeah.
bit. I'm a brick topping. I'm a bit like brick topping them.
Nah, I don't know.
No, do my
Maybe
brick top impression.
you like Penfold from Danger Mouse.
Do I? Shall I do my brick top? You're always going to have problems cutting a body like that. My advice is cut it into six, hence the expression, as greedy as a pig. Oh, God, taking some getting used to. Got like them, these two watch telly, these two put computer. I've got a pair to drive in, and obviously I've got them into sunglasses and that, but I don't have them lasered, mate, because I've been looking at horror stories on YouTube. What do you think?
We'll get one eye done at a time.
That's what I was thinking. Just get you can have a lens fitted. Somebody I forgot the gentleman's name, but he sent me a link in. But about having it done, and he said he didn't take his missus. She had both of them, but thing is with me with operations and that. Every time I have an operation, there's a problem with that. I usually put through mincer.
Mate, just don't go to Turkey.
Won't be going back to listen. Chris Medley's in Algorfa where I went. He's not gone to Cosmetic Beach, so he did have some at work done at Cosmetic Beach last year, but he's gone somewhere else. I think he was back today, Chris.
Yeah.
He's gone. I think he's having his temporary teeth fitted today. I think he had that done, didn't he, Chris? But he's having teeth done this week, but then he's got to go back in some months down. I was 7 months later, wasn't I? But when he sent me a video, he said, "All right," he's like, "All right, I'm in Turkey." Because I needed his mate's number to just have a scale and polish up at Wickersley. It's his mate. And he says, "Oh, speaking of teeth, I'm in Turkey, baby." I went, sent me a video, but he sent his best to you, Terry.
Okay, no, I appreciate that.
I reckon he's got some very good kids at his gym now, so I'm really pleased for Chris. Really pleased for him, like, 'cause he's our pal, isn't he? We like Chris, don't we?
Yeah.
We've got a lot to get through. I'm just going to put me brick tops on and get the Callum Smith boxer. I'll go that way, and we'll get the show up. But I want to start with Terry. What did you think about Daniel Dubois pulling out? What did you think?
Um, I I think we spoke, didn't we? And I said I never had the feeling he was gonna fight. Like, because normally in fight week you're talking about the importance of a fight, right? So it's like, right, if Daniel beats so and so, he fights so and so. If Joseph beats him, it's a great opportunity. Da, 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 da. There wasn't that energy at the beginning of fight week, was there? And so I always had the feeling that Daniel wasn't meant to fight that week. Now, the whys we probably won't get to the bottom of for a while, but I can also see from another perspective that it's annoying for fans who wanted one fight and got another one, and then we know what happened, obviously in the Chief Support main event, which is disappointing somehow.
Yeah, yeah. I've just had on Anthony Austin. It looks like he's won the. I was saying before you look. It looks like he's won the 100 quid. I think 8,000 or something. A video I did with him the other day, so that's good. I don't think he needs the dough, but it's if you win it, you win it. A win's a win in it, and it's just
Yeah,
some an
exactly.
incentive that Gary, my good friend from Welcome Estates, so right, I'll throw 100 quid in a month out his own pocket, not to his company, and
Yeah.
so
No,
that was nice.
congrats to him. He's getting a lot of good feedback. So
Gary,
congratulations. Yeah.
yeah,
Anthony, sorry. Gary.
Anthony, yeah. Gary is as well. He's put his money where his mouth is in boxing, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Fought Huey Fury and he's had him out at his place in Spain. And I've stayed there; it's gorgeous. But Anthony's getting some good feedback. But his job is a chemist, and we spoke today about antihistamines and gave him the full breakdown, what they are, what they do to the body, and all that. And it was a bit similar to your thing that you did with Larry Alabama. Remember back in the day, old school, you and Larry rocking it.
that's nearly 5 years ago now.
5 years. Well, that were quite a controversial video, Terence, I would say.
Which is mad, isn't it? Because today it wouldn't be.
No, it won't be. But then it was something that you took on. They were quite brave because nobody really wanted to speak out, did they? Or speak about
No.
stuff like that.
Got absolutely shot down. Like I took a lot of stick when it first came out,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of character because my only response was, guys, come back a year from now, yeah, and say the same thing if you still believe it. And every year, people have just gone, yeah, you were right, mate. You were right. You were
Yeah,
right.
but they weren't saying that then, were they, Terry? Do you remember?
Nah,
Yeah.
they weren't. And I got a hard time. Larry definitely got a hard time. And it's just nice to be vindicated. And, the events of this week just show you where the public's feelings are when it comes to doping now.
Well, everybody's susceptible because Costanio Dubois pulled out. Everybody's like, he's doping. Well, with no proof of that, all we want is somebody to come out and clarify the situation because Bricktop came out and he gave us half a story about that he took antihistamines. Well, they're not banned list, aren't they, with VADA? So people are going to have the suspicions, aren't they? You see where I'm coming from?
Well, but you still have to fail a test.
Yeah, he hasn't failed the test. So we're not saying Daniel Dubois is a doper. Nobody's accusing him of anything. But we're looking at different scenarios of what it can be.
But if he had done what is alleged, as in he took what he shouldn't have taken, then he's done the right thing, and this should be applauded.
Yeah, he should be, because if he's took the wrong thing, he's like, hey, I've made a mistake. They've pulled him out because if he knocks Parker out and injures him, they've got lawsuits. So I credit them with putting fighters' safety first, but the replacement over 22 stone, not sparred since August. Is that putting safety first, Terry? I want your views on that.
Let's ask Billy Nelson.
Well,
that's the real question,
right?
I've
plenty to say on social media for the last 5 years regarding Martin Buckley.
But it just feels like Billy needed Martin to take this fight more than Martin needed to take it. Now, I don't know if it's because Martin's in the hole to Billy for a few $100,000 or whatever. I have no idea. But it felt that way. It felt like, look, we need to get this money because I need to break even on you, Martin. And then Martin's just gone like, yeah, okay.
Why would you give up a position to fight in Jagba and then you are the manager for the heavyweight championship of the world, the greatest prize in sport? Forget Formula One, forget Champions League, Wimbledon, and Golf US Open. The heavyweight championship of the world. You are one fight away from fighting for it. You donut. Well, it looks like a donut. I can't get my head around that. And Billy Nelson could have gone down as a legend, but instead he wanted a bit of a drink. What was he on? 30% of the purses are out on Dan Rayfield. Terry Chisora says he got 3 million, but the purse list suggests he got 600,000. So if Billy's on 30% of that, he's got $180,000 before taxman gets a grip of him, right? So he loses 40% of that. So 18 times 4, 72. So Billy's got $108,000. Convert that into English money. What's that, about 95 grand, Terry?
Yeah.
There you go. Or you win the heavyweight championship of the world and your fighters, the best in the world, you're telling us.
But wait, hold on.
You get millions.
Hold on. I find it hard to believe it's 600 grand. And
well,
the reason
this
I
is
say
what that were put out by Dan Rayfield, wasn't it?
I'm not buying that. Like, if you're...
I read it all out on here, Terry.
Because, yeah, if you're over a barrel, Porky, right?
Yeah.
And you know that if they're calling you, they're desperate. But Coley must have known that. Like, you're calling me on this day, you don't have many other options. I can ask for a bit more money.
Yeah. Hang on a second, I'll get them things up in a minute. Let me just...
Then put your glasses on.
And oh yeah, sorry, I keep forgetting that. I keep forgetting I've got these. They're hard work, these, you know, mate. Really hard work to get used to. Hang on a minute. Well, Jane Couch who sent me it. Jane, could you send me them purses again, please? The screenshot you sent me from Dan Rayfield, please. Cheers. And then
Mate, yeah.
Max sent me it as well. Big Max.
Whoa, why didn't they give Max the call?
Max would have took that fight in an heartbeat. Max, it's Porky. Can you send me them purses from the fight again, please? Cheers. Parker 2 million, Bacoli 600, it said, but Derek said 3 million, and he's got the Ajagba fight and a final eliminator. Well, if you look on the thingy today, there's no final eliminator, is he? He's just got the Ajagba fight.
I wouldn't even have him in that fight.
You what, mate?
I don't even think I'd have him in that fight. It's not safe.
No, well, he's not safe at that size of that, is he? Here we go. Also, Here we go. Cheers, Jane. Thank you very much, sweetheart. Right. Dan Rayfield. Reported prices. Bivol 10 million. Better Beef 10 million. Parker 2 million. Bacoli 600,000. Stevenson 2.1. That's Shakur, not Adonis. Padley 500,000. Adamis 1.2 million. Shiraz 800,000. Zhang 2.5 million, Caballel 1.2. I don't know why that's like that. Caballel's undefeated. Buatsi 550, Smith 660. There you go.
Yeah, these are the numbers that were going around before, and I didn't believe them then. I just felt that it was a bit heavy when it came to all of that stuff, mate. It was a bit heavy when I saw 10 million for Bivol and Beterbiev. I don't think the Saudis are paying that much. And also, they don't have to, right? Because there's no other option. So there's probably closer to 7-8 million each for those guys. And then it sort of slides down. So I think Bacoli's probably got like a mil, 1.2 feels a bit fairer. And otherwise, I don't think you'd have taken the fight. Why would you? You're probably going to get 600 grand for fighting a Jagber anyway.
Well, Dan Rayfield always got Frotcher's purses, right? Because he used to ask him and he used to say, yeah, I don't know how that's leaked out, but that'd be Eddie, won't it, leaking shit out on. That's what he does.
But remember, they play games with purses, don't they? So they'll say, this is the fighter's purse, but that's not your compensation.
Tell porkies about it, don't they, to dangle the carrot and draw people in. Look what we're paying and this and that. And so I know what Frotcher used to get every fight, and they will bang on Rayfield. So I don't know. But listen, whatever they've got, Bacoli, he's never done more than 30 tickets, I've been told. So he's not a ticket seller, is he? He's not Mr. Engaging, is he? Can he fight? Yeah, well, obviously he can fight. He's a big old lump. But we've heard loads of sparring stories about people over the years. I mean, Dave Allen tells good sparring stories about everybody, but we're talking Dave Allen, aren't we, really? He's never won a belt. So anybody who spars him, they're going to be brilliant, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? But Bacoli, for me, is he that good? Really? Hunter done him. He's just lost there, got in a ring at over 22 Clem. You know, and is Parker that good, Terry? We spoke about Parker the other day, and people are losing the shit over him, aren't they?
You know what? Look, you are what you've done, right? And when you look at people that Joseph Parker fought that were in their primes, he tended to go life and death with them. Andy Ruiz, people think that was a controversial decision. Hughie Fury, people think that was a controversial decision. Dillian White went life and death with him, went life and death with Chisora, and Shaw wasn't even prime. And then we're supposed to believe that we have a different Parker now because he beat a Wilder whose soul still belongs to Tyson Fury, defeated a Zhang who, like, really is a 3-round fighter, really, isn't he? And then he's beaten. Who else did he beat on top of that?
Zhang,
Chisora. These aren't wins where I'm like, yeah, that makes you world level. If he'd beaten Dubois, I'd be talking differently, but not based on what he's done previously. I can't buy
Chisora twice though, didn't he? But Chisora's shot. Zhang's a fat man. Bacoli's a fat man. Do you know what I mean? Jack Mass is a cruiserweight.
Yeah. But when he was in there with like people you almost class as his generation,
we know good.
He wasn't dominant. Like Joshua had his way with him.
Yeah.
Dillian nearly dealt with him. So I'm not buying this reinvention of Parker. I think Parker's a solid gatekeeper at that level, but that's as much as I can give him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's but like I said, people are losing the shit with him, and I think people are losing the shit with his Andy Lee's like this new generational Adam Boo, go to Adam Boo, the Dark Lord. It's now go to Andy Lee. He's knocking these men are knocking people out, and then we're seeing Parker with pictures of him and Dr. Usman on social media. What's going on there, Terry?
Well, no one's asked any questions of Parker, have they?
Nobody's asking
About
any
this.
questions at all about how come Parker all of a sudden is putting people on button moon.
Well, someone's got to get there, haven't they, so they can spy on John Fury.
Yeah, it's a bit like Tyson Fury's big announcement, according to the Gad and Bricktop and Juggies Oliver, that were Monday. Well, it's now Thursday afternoon, and where's the big announcement, Gaddy? You know, this big announcement. Oh, get ready for Monday. Well, it's just Fury trying to hog limelight because he wasn't there in Saudi, because he's like now Augustus Gloop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He is, isn't he?
It's a mess, though, isn't it? Where we're at right now, it feels a bit messy. It feels like we've lost a lot of the value of boxing in the last year and a half.
Musical chairs to play with rankings and mandatories. What is that all about? Do you know what I mean? So 2 seconds.
See, I love this. This is live and interactive. I have no idea whether he's going to get an Amazon present, going to rob a bank, and here he is.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, because you go back a few years, right? We could tell you what the blockbuster fights would be. It's like, Joshua could fight Wilder in Wembley. It'd be huge, do great numbers.
Remember that, Terry? 2017 April at Wembley when they flew Wilder in first class. They put him in London Hilton and everybody were licking his arsehole from YouTube saying, oh, you've got the winner of Vladimir Joshua. Eddie's saying, Wilder's next for the winner, even though they had a rematch close with Vladimir. What happened? Joshua won in a life and death against Vladimir. Where were the Wilder fight? Pop, pop, bang.
I mean, and you're bang on. And so what we've ended up with is a load of fights happening quicker than we're used to. So we don't really get to appreciate a lot of this stuff. We're not going to appreciate this period of boxing until it stops because it's just been so fast that we haven't had a chance to get up and down. Like, it wasn't that long ago Fury fought Usyk, right? And then we're straight back into this. And then it won't be long until we're jumping into a Canelo fight. It's just, there's a lot to take in a short space of time.
Yeah, it is, mate. Before we finish off on the rest of these cards, I just want to ask you this question. This is from Ryan, who comes on channel, Manchester kid. I want to know who Terry from the UK has the ability. Let me put my bins on here because I am blind as a bat, pushing 55-year-old. That's better. I keep thinking you got to put it close. I want to know who Terry from the UK has the. I want to know, Terry, who from the UK has the ability to be an undisputed champion. Likewise, who in the UK has also the ability to fight on the inside? So who's the ability from the UK to be the next undisputed in any weight, I'm assuming, and who's got the ability to effectively fight on the inside? And that's a question that Julian and me, off the channel and on it, always used to talk about, because he'd always gone about Holyfield and that's Sanchez, is it? The Sanchez guy, the small weight guy?
Salvador Sanchez.
I think he's Julian's favourite fighter. And Julian used to say they don't teach inside fighting at UK. I know Ward's a big, massive inside fighter. I know Froch weren't. But who's got the ability to fight on the inside from the UK? Who's teaching it, I'm asking, and who's going to be next undisputed?
So I'm going to give Callum Smith credit. And people, if you follow me long enough, you'll know that this is a big deal for me. So I'm going to give Callum Smith credit. He did a lot of damage to Josh Boatsy on the inside. And
I knew you were going to say that.
No, but it was good though, Russ, because I haven't seen a British guy go jab, left uppercut, shovel that into the body and then bring it over the top. I haven't seen a Brit do that. And it wasn't just he was doing that, because normally Brits just do something till it doesn't work. But he was confusing Josh because he kept hitting him with the right uppercut. So Josh is having to look out for the right hand. Meanwhile, Callum's like, I'm going to hit you 3 times with the left. And Josh is like, so I don't know if it's going to be a jab, then a right hand. Oh, no, it's a left hook to the body. Maybe he's going to come with the right hand afterwards. No, left hook to the head. So he kept Josh kind of confused, right? And for a 6'3" guy to be doing all of that on the inside, credit where credit's due. I think that has to be from Buddy McGirt because he didn't used to do that before. He's always had a good left hook, right? We remember that, like the classic Callum Smith knockdown or knockout was catch the right hand, shoot the left hook straight back. Now that's definitely the Joe G trick, but I think just some of the combinations he's throwing now are very un-British. It would be my take. So he did really well in that. I think we're generally struggling to find kids who are really good at boxing on the inside because no one's teaching it, to be truth be told. Dan Aziz had it for a bit on his way up. He's lost a bit of that. So I'm hoping he's trying to get that back by working with the guys at the Peacock. But it's those little things where, like, I have pros come to me for an hour and we start just talking about some inside fighting ideas. And it's like I just shown them fire for the first time.
James Toney, when he won that cruiserweight title in his comeback, against Jabalov or Jaglov.
Vasily Girov.
Yeah, that's him, yeah. That was a long time ago. He got Fighter at Year, didn't he? Ring Magazine Fighter at Year for that. Or were it Fighter? Yeah, I think it might have been Fighter of the Year, wasn't it? Because it would have come back for him, wasn't it? Now, that is some of the best inside fighting I've ever seen from an old stager. And he took that into heavyweight division. He beat Holyfield, didn't he? But then he got done for doping, didn't he? I think, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Holyfield, he's been done as well. So, but point I want to make is James Toney could do it, couldn't he? But he wasn't a dedicated trainer, was he, James Toney? He had problems with Kate because his mum had a bakery, didn't she, James Toney's mum? Who's doing that kind of thing? The Sanchez, James Toney, to Andre Ward as well. He fights on inside good, doesn't he?
He's not a great inside fighter. He can do it. He's not a great inside fighter.
Ward.
Yeah, he's not great.
He's more of a tire that ties him up, doesn't he, kind of thing.
Yeah, but he's not a guy who, like, if you look at, like, let's take Toney because we just mentioned him. Toney could do it, couldn't he? On the inside.
He could do it, James Toney.
Yeah, Duran could do it. It's that whole phone booth thing. Can you actually understand the mechanics of being on the inside and how you create openings?
Mayweather.
Yeah, but Mayweather could do everything.
Yeah, do you know when I look at Mayweather, he's a bit like Muhammad Ali. His career is in 2 styles, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I look at Mayweather, and in the beginning of his career, he just used to stand in the middle of the ring, and he didn't really move his feet. He'd just move about like that, wouldn't he? And James Toney, it's the same. Whereas you look at somebody like Johnny Nelson, who held the world championship 7 years, he's throwing a jab going backwards. Now, that's called reaching, in it, Terry. I'm asking you because I'm not a trainer and you are. Is that called reaching?
No, it's not reaching.
What is it then? It's just stinking arena out.
No, well, look, boxing is about different styles. And Johnny's thing was, if I can control where the fight happens, it's easier for me. And so he'd always give himself distance to have a look and get shots in. Now, people say it stinks because he's not just holding his feet and having a good old scrap. Fair enough. Horses for courses. But the stuff Johnny did was good. But he always needed a dance partner. He needed someone who would just come after him and it would look good. But if there was another person who wanted to, go around the perimeter of the ring as well, then you're like, what are we watching?
Carlos de Leon.
Yeah. So Johnny had a style, and my opinion on Johnny's style is it was effective.
Yeah.
He just rarely had the dance partner who could nullify his style.
Okay. Now, back to the nature at hand. I'm sounding like doggy here, and there's nothing but a G thing, baby. Right. So we spoke about Martin McCauley. Fat as a pig, Michelin man. He made Butterbean look like Twiggy. I want to talk about Joe Gallagher's guy, Mohammed Alakal won. Shakur Stevenson against Josh Padley, a Donny kid. What did you make of that fight? Was Shakur Stevenson exposed as, or was it just one of them when he couldn't get up for the fight?
Look, I reckon what happened with that was Stevenson gets in, realizes Padley's not at a level where he's ever going to lose that fight. And then it became like a sparring session where he was just working on stuff. And
Yeah.
I think his attitude was, if I get the stoppage, I get it. But I'm gonna try some stuff I wouldn't normally do. I think if you had said to Shakur Stevenson, you got 5 rounds to get this done, he'd have got it done in 5 rounds. But he just took his time. And as a fan, that's not what you want to see.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, he's helped elevate Padley though. So he's generated money in Padley that wasn't there before. So credit where credit's due for Shakur for doing that.
Yeah.
But I felt for him because when you prepare for one guy and you get a completely different guy, then it's like, what's this all about? But it raises the point that Shakur Stevenson needs a proper test now.
Yeah.
The next fight has to be a test.
Yeah, he's got to. I'd like to see him in there with Tank. Would you? That's the fight we want.
No,
Why
no,
not?
it's not. No.
With Tank run
Well,
over.
he hasn't earned it.
Do you think Tank's further up than him now, where they are in their careers?
Yeah, but what win has Shakur Stevenson got where you're like, oh, he's earned that right?
He's like a guy that's gone under the radar that people speak about like he's superhuman, but really, is he?
I'd like to see him fight Keyshawn Davis.
Hmm.
That's the fight I want to see. Like, you know, two American kids, young, Keyshawn Davis really brings the heat. And then we'll see if Shakur Stevenson's skills can hold up when there's someone really looking to take his head off.
Yeah. Okay. Zhang Kabayel.
You know what? Do you remember when Caballel fought Chisora, right? And we were just like, oh man, this guy's horrible to watch. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So to go from that to being this guy now who's literally just cutting people down, it's almost like someone sat him down, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago and said, mate, listen, none of these heavyweights can take body shots, I promise you. If you just hit them to the body enough, they'll buckle. And I think I can't be the only one who said this. And I said this religiously for years. I said, most people don't train to take body shots, heavyweights especially. If you go to a heavyweight's body, they will struggle. And people laughed at me. I said, yeah, just keep hitting them to the body and they'll buckle. And then after the pandemic, one of the predictions I made was you're going to see a lot more guys in the next year get dropped by body shots and people getting stopped with body shots. Because there's a real skill to taking body shots, Russ. And the only way you master that skill is by taking loads of them. And heavyweights don't take loads of body shots.
No. You know what the Cobra always used to say to me? People going down to body shots, they're not training hard enough. Do you believe in that?
No.
No? What do you think then?
People think it's all sit-ups and stuff. It's not. Because look at how many guys with no six-pack can take body shots all day. You learn it's a skill because all the muscles have to move in the right order, in the right way, at the right time, right? And then that dissipates the shock. So if I get hit to the body, what I really want is that energy to go from where the impact is into the ground as fast as possible, right? And there's a whole sequence of things you want to do. That's why when you see someone like Fury get hit and you see the fat jiggle and wobble and stuff,
yeah.
But that's a good sign, right? That's you say, okay, cool. When it does that, the shock's dissipating, problem solved.
Well, Fury said when he was, this is what I've heard him say in interviews, when he were just under 18 stone, he couldn't hold a body shot like he could when he were, a couple of stone heavier.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
Because that fat takes a lot of the impact away and there's no load on your cardiovascular. There's no respiratory load either or cardiovascular load because it's fat, right? So it's not consuming anything. So yeah, there's no metabolic load. That's the word. So yeah, it's a great way to insulate yourself against body shots.
Yeah. Rest of the show. Let me just get it back up. I keep getting today. It's funny, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I'm inundated with people wanting to come on now, which is good news, isn't it? But when I first started out, I was like the kiss of death one, Terry. Do you remember when we first started doing it? You started before me, didn't you, with Martin and the other kid? Are they both Army lads, aren't they? Or Forces lads, aren't they?
Well, Andy is, yeah.
Andy, that's it. And you boys started yours before anybody. I think it was around about the asylum time, wasn't it? when they started theirs. So we're all stages, aren't we? But it's nice to be popular, I guess, for change instead of being the plague. Uh, we spoke about Zhang and Caballel. Zhang's went nearly 42, isn't he? Caballel, were he exposed because he got dropped?
Nah, Zhang's drops everyone though. Like
Yeah.
and the thing with Zhang that I really like is he's a heavy kid. What's he, 20 something stone, 21, 22 stone? He's a big lump.
Big old lump.
But he's so relaxed when he punches. You see, like there's no tension. It's just relaxed.
Yeah.
So all the weight just comes through. And a punch that doesn't look like it should do a lot suddenly just does a lot. And you're like, wow.
Okay.
I mean, that's a hell of a shot.
Okay. Joshua Buatsi, an undefeated Olympic bronze against Callum Smith, who missed going to the Olympics by the skin of his teeth in 2012. They screamed robbery, didn't they? Ladies and gentlemen, the Smiths. They screamed robbery. But he's more than made up for it. I've never seen Callum Smith in a firefight until Buatsi, and he impressed me. Did you, Terry?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, if you look at his career, his signature win is George Groves. I think you call him the one-armed bandit, right?
One-armed man. It's a true story, though, isn't it? They nearly pulled fight, didn't they, Groves and Shane McGuigan?
Yeah.
But Joe Gallagher forced the issue, didn't he?
Well, hadn't they delayed it once before?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But George got in and did his best. And when he puts his head down on that pillar at night, George Groves, if he cares about his career, he will see Callum Smith in his dreams, like Froch sees Andre Ward and like Tony Bellew sees all them that put him on Button Moon, all them Southpaws, Usyk, Adonis Stevenson and whatnot.
No, I think it's a little bit different. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because I think George can sleep knowing that if he'd had two arms, he would have beaten Callum Smith.
I believe that. I believe that.
Whereas with Froch, you could give him Froch 8 arms, he wasn't beating Andre Ward.
He did finish strong though, Carl, didn't he, in that fight? Let's give him.
There's nothing to play for at that point. You know, it's like losing 7-0 and your striker scores a hat trick in the last 5 minutes. Yeah. All right. Okay. This is nice.
Okay, I forget that digging, don't you, Terence? So Callum Smith, he fought on the inside. He showed a lot of heart. He had a bad cut, so he's in a firefight. When Billy Joe were in a firefight with Canelo, he didn't know what to do. What does Teddy Atlas say? We're firefighters, aren't we? We put the fire out. You bite down on your gum shield. Billy didn't do it. Callum Smith bit down on his gum shield. And we're talking about a guy here that wasn't a world champion, but we're saying it's now known as Callum Smith's signature win, Joshua Buatsi, because he was tipped for big things. Didn't Tony Bellew say Joshua Buatsi is the new Michael Moorer and Andre Ward rolled into one? Tony's words. Am I right? You know, because Michael Moorer was dominant at light heavyweight, wasn't he? So did Joshua Buatsi get the game plan wrong, or is his trainer, Virgil Hunter, a one-trick pony? Because he never did note with Angulo, and there's a host of others that didn't do note with him. What do you think?
Mate, you've been waiting all week to ask this question, haven't you?
What, to stick it to you about your big son, Virgil?
Okay, so first thing with Josh is if you look at Josh's wins, his recent wins,
yeah,
they're all against guys that looked up to him. Yeah, so he was always better than those guys from when they were young, right? Yeah. Like, because Josh came up in the amateurs alongside Lerone Richards. These guys were light years ahead of everybody else. So they were always looking up to Josh. Callum Smith wasn't, right? So psychologically, Callum's like, no, Josh was looking up to me because I was the kid on Matchroom when he signed. I was Eddie's golden project when he signed. So a lot of that psychology is important when guys are boxing because, like, in my opinion, like Craig Richards kind of boxed in awe of Josh, almost like he wanted to prove to Josh that he was good. Whereas contrast that with Callum. Callum said, nah, I just want to fight this guy. Let's have some fun. And then Josh was like, oh, this is Callum Smith. I've watched him do this, do that, do the other. And Josh didn't have that aura effect. And all of a sudden, Josh had to dig in and fight in a way that he hadn't had to before. And then he realized that, you know, Callum's a veteran of this thing. No matter how flimsy Callum's record is, he still had to do all those camps, still had to do all those rounds, still had to get all that experience. So that brings us to Virgil Hunter. If you've had a kid from when they're 11 years old, Russ,
Ward.
I would expect them to be good after 10 years of you training them. I don't care who the trainer is. If I give you 10 years with a kid, they should be good. Right?
Like Chris Smedley and Liam Cameron from age of 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
He went to
Now,
ABAs, then got the chance to go be in the Olympic team.
but where Chris is different is there was already a track record with Chris.
Yeah, but Chris doesn't chase the money, does he? He's never been one of them about interviews, and he's not a Caldwell type character, is he, Chris? He's more about spit and sawdust carry on, because he's obviously a self-employed Tyler who does well. He's never been one that wholly depends on boxing, has he, Chris? You know.
No. So here's the thing. Like when I look at trainers, you're always going to be fed with their best fighter, right? Look at this trainer, Adam Booth. Dave, look what he did with David Haye. But I always want to look at what they did with everybody else. So what did they do with the kids they had on day one? What did they do with the kids that came to them needing fixing? What did they do with those guys?
Well, David Haye didn't need fixing when he turned pro with Adam Booth. He were a world silver medalist. Shouldn't he have gone to Olympics, David Haye?
Lost to Fragment.
But then he filled him in when they fought as pros, didn't
he? Yeah.
In a barnstormer.
While it lasted.
So Adam Booth really had David Haye dropped on his lap, because weren't Adam Booth teaching aerobics or something, the boxercise or something, before David Haye bowled up?
No. Adam was training people like.
I didn't know that. I got that wrong. Now I read that somewhere.
Yeah, so he had guys like Gary Logan, etc.
I'm not saying Adam Booth's a bad trainer, because his record's good in it, Adam Booth's record. But David Haye made him kind of thing, didn't he? I meant.
Yeah, but also remember in the early years of David Haye's career, it was Ishmael Salas that was training him, and Adam was taking notes.
Yeah.
So context is important, and you get. For me, I like trainers who can build stables of fighters. Stables of fighters where you can have multiple world champions in one stable.
Okay, well, it's gonna. Oh no! I remember David Haye. We've got a couple of minutes left on this. I remember David Haye going to fight out at the Playboy Mansion in front of Hugh Hefner when he was a novice, and he went out there, and from what I've heard, he made a pig of himself.
Yeah, that was a big deal, wasn't it? Remember, that was all televised. Like Jeff Lacey was on that card.
They had him in limousine. David Haye was strutting around before he'd even won out. He was strutting around, and they were like, "This guy's like a superstar," and he lived up to it. He was putting people on button moon money.
Yeah,
I remember, and I was like, I was watching it on BBC, and I was like, wow, I was like mesmerised. A cruiserweight, 13 stone 8 then, wasn't it? And I thought, this guy here is going to do something. It's a pity he's not an heavyweight. And eventually, he ended up winning the heavyweight championship as well as the cruiserweight unified, didn't he? So people forget about that about David Haye. They always remember the Bellew fights, don't they? But David Haye had one of them styles, didn't it? We're never going to last, because he was a twitch fighter, wasn't he? Once that's gone, you'd be like Roy Jones. You found wanting, aren't you, really?
Nah.
Don't you think? Or didn't he adapt? Didn't he adapt then? Because when Ali lost his twitch.
In the Bellew fight, he showed that he could do it another way. It's just a shame that it was a snapped Achilles that brought that out in him. But he showed that he could slip, slide, stay right there with Bellew, block shots, catch shots. He showed he can do a lot. He's not respected for the boxing brain that he is, but he's a huge boxing brain.
Yeah, okay. We're going to part 2, Terence.
Yes.
I'll see you over there. Thanks for subscribing and leaving a comment. Please join us on part 2, me and Terry, where we're going to talk some more hardcore boxing talk, whatever we want to call it. Knackers. We're going to chat some more boxing knackers. All right. Well, I'm up to another coffee. All right. See you in a minute. Pop, pop, bang.